Howdy ho, Maplers, and welcome to the next phase in my little adventure here. It is on the Nightwalker, to probably not very many people's surprise. We have been playing a little bit of it on stream. I figured now would be a decent enough time to show this to the YouTube channel, since we've made a little bit of progress. About for the last 8 months or so, I've been investing pretty much all of my resources that I gained while training into the Nightwalker, and in secret into my int set, but more importantly into the Nightwalker, since that's the character we're on now, to make a 275 set. So for the first 275 is the character that I think I like the most, and the one that I have the most ideas of mating. So we're giving Nightwalker a trial run to 275 to see if I actually like playing the class as much as I remember liking it. And for the gear, because there has been quite a bit of an improvement, we're a little bit stronger than my normal dex or my normal luck set. That being said, I am using full luck gear on this as opposed to just meso gear and my luck stuff for thieves, so it is to be expected. But we have a few decent items that we've made over the days. Most of my items are going to be unique 3 or 2 lines. I'm not super crazy about the damage story life. For my reinforced ring, I'm literally just using my drop ring because it has a luck line, it has flat luck on the B-pot, and it's 21 stars. This was my 2-line drop ring from 0. All of my Meso drop accessories I've pulled off of the 0 now, and I've moved them over to the Night Lord since this is my primary character going forward. Might as well have my best Meso drop set on this character. The Superior Ring is going to be 17 starred at the end of Ignition once I buy out the event shops for both Burning World and Reboot. Same with the Superior Earrings. That's why they don't have any stars right now. Currently, my Meso gear is better than these, but they should be better by quite a bit once they're actually 17 stars. Then there's my Hilla's Rage. The craziest thing. This thing looks disgusting, I know. It's beauty. The craziest thing, once this ring is 17 star, the Hilla's Rage is actually going to be worse. But this is one of the best items I had prior to the 22 star update, so I'm keeping it more for sentimental value than anything, but the potential is still crazy good. This will take me a long ways. Pretty much up until the point I get like a Roar 3 or a Roar 4, whichever I end up getting in the future for bossing, this is going to stay on. For the belt, it's just my common thief accessories. Well, most of it's just my common thief gear from the 250s, since my thief gear was already quite a bit stronger than the rest of my 250 sets because Shadower was my main character prior to starting all these 250s. So it worked out pretty well for me. Then the Claw, we actually finished this pretty much as soon as we started it. Like, the last touch that I did onto this was on Halloween when we rolled our 3-line main pot. It was so fucking crazy. It's the best thing I've ever rolled with Meister Cubes, and it is pretty gosh darn good. This is where I'm throwing most of my Black Rebirth Flames for the foreseeable future, as well as B-pots, since 10% damage isn't ideal, but I'm probably going to wait until I have a lot of B-pots or there's a cube sale to fix the B-pot, since it works for now, and since the majority of things I'll be doing now is training, 10% damage isn't the worst thing I could have. Also need to replace the Mag Soul. That'll come in the future. A 2-line pendant. I wasn't able to get 3 lines on this, but I did roll double prime on unique, so I kind of just stuck with it. I think the upgrades that'll come to this is more so if it gets to legendary, or if I decide to push it to legendary if I even need to. But for now, this is pretty much fine. Most of these B-pots are also just going to be 2 lines of flat attack on a rare bonus pot, because until I decide if I want to fully invest in this character, I'm not really going to push any of these B-pots past rare, and since I'm a claw class, my attack multiplier is so crazy good. Flat attack is just ridiculously good. It's super efficient cost-wise for these levels. Second pendant is just a pendant of spirit currently because I don't want to lose my stacks because I'll be training tomorrow. But my second pendant is actually a fake dominator. It's just 15% luck with 6 crit. The flame on it is pretty decent. I actually rolled it in only 3 flames, so not gonna question a good thing. It isn't properly scrolled. This thing is like, I believe, 70% traced for luck, so it's quite a bit worse than a properly scrolled dominator would be, but for a second pendant slot, it also fills out the boss set. It works for my purposes. One of the more recent things I've updated is my hat. This used to be 18% luck, and then I decided to roll it because I was a goober and bought a bunch of untradeable Karma Meister cubes, and this was the only thing I had that was really upgrade worthy. I was trying to roll for cooldown and luck for Kali in the future, but ended up rolling 21 luck instead and just settled with it. Another 2-line flat attack. This one is legendary though, so it's quite a bit more attack. Works out pretty good. All of the CRA stuff is also going to be 20 stars. This was the most expensive CRA item to get to 20 stars. Legitimately, the hat alone was 11 bill on Shining Star Force. So, yeah, my post 250 gains are already off to a terrible, terrible start. My Twilight mark is kind of goofed up right now since, again, I was a goober and got a lot of untradeable Karma stuff, and this was originally just 15% luck, so I tried to greed for 3 lines of luck like on most of my other accessories. The flame is okay for now. Ideally, I'd like to have all stat on there with flat luck, but 100 flat luck on a Twilight mark is pretty good for my purposes. The Pat mark is all but complete. It even has a unique B pot, which is pretty crazy. It's 44 and 6, 3 lines of main pot, and then 1 line of luck on the B pot. The only upgrades I'll be doing to this is probably getting it to 20 stars with the rest of my accessories, and then eventually 22. Top, nothing has changed since the Thief gear. Same with the bottom. They're just both 20 stars now. These were actually the only things that saved my Shining Star Force from being a complete catastrophe. The pants boomed like 6 times, but they boomed really quickly, so I was able to get 20 stars without losing too much Mesa, and the top was the only item that was kind to me. For the Absolab stuff, none of the potentials have changed, none of the flames have changed. I will need to work on the flames for some of these in the future. Like, they're not that great, 20 and 6. This is good for 250 gear, but if this is going to be a main, absolutely has to change. Same with the main pot. 17 all stat is decent, but it's not great. I just need a good enough source of Meister cubes or black cubes or red cubes, depending on what events are running, to re-roll this for something better. Gloves are actually okay for now. I do need to fix the flame because it sucks, but decent sharp eyes and crit damage is pretty nice, although I have so many open V-Matrix slots on Nightwalker because it doesn't have a super complex V-Matrix that I'll probably want to roll off decent sharp eyes, even if it's just for crit damage and luck. But rolling for 2-line on glove has never been my strong point, so I don't know when I'll get to this. I'll definitely do flames before I re-roll the main pot. Then the B pot's actually really nice. It's 2 lines of luck. One of them's +2 per 10 and 5% all stat. Very, very good. Probably about as much as I'm willing to go for any B pot, really. Just 2 lines. Shoulder. Only thing that'll really change here is Star Force. Main pot might get changed in the future. B pot's fine for me. I don't need 8%. 6% is pretty good. As long as it's just 1 line of luck percent, I don't really mind what percent roll it is, just as long as it's a percent roll. Then the earrings, just like the superior ring. These are the new items I'm working on because I never had stat accessories until this point. So they're a work in progress. These will also be 17 starred with the event shop scrolls. This one will be from Burning World, which I'll be bringing over. So I'll have both of these at 17 star for no meso cost, which is huge poggers. Then the granddaddy of them all. No prime lines, unfortunately, but it is 5 lines of attack. This is probably the best item I've ever rolled, and it doesn't have a prime line except for the wrong attack type. Well, I guess you could make an argument the claw's pretty crazy too, since I needed the IED line, but this thing is super nice. It helps insanely well with mobbing, and it works even better since this is the claw class. Having as much attack as possible is going to make life super easy. Then the Ghost Ship badge. I don't really care too much about the Ghost Ship badge. I know some people have their own opinions on it, but I don't really think it's totally necessary. And to prove that point, I'm really not going to push it beyond this point. For my purposes, this is literally just a star forceable piece of equipment for my raid power, so it's not going past 2-line unique at all. Badge, ideally, or medal rather. Ideally, I want to get Frito's friend because it seems like every one of my characters at this point has gotten it, but unfortunately, Nightwalker is not one of them. Gotta change that. Emblem is pretty goddarn good. It's also 3-line just like the Claw. The B-Pot has 1 line of prime attack and some all stat, but ideally I want to get that to 21% attack. The 3rd line on the B-Pot doesn't really matter to me, but as long as it's 21, that is solid, like irreplaceably solid for me. 3-line B-Pots are not a thing I'm looking at all. Then for the cape is pretty solid. The flame is actually fairly decent. I think the only thing I'll be changing about this in the nearish future is star forcing it to 20 stars with the rest of the Absols. The B-Pot's actually insane. 2 lines of percent luck. Pretty gosh darn good. And then the heart. 15% luck. It's, I believe, 15... No, this is 15% traced for attack. 15 luck, and then 2 lines of flat attack on the B-Pot. I'm unsure if I want to greed to roll this for 3 lines on unique or if I'll just eventually tear it up, because hearts are usually fairly easy to get 2 lines for legendary stat. Hearts have a lot fewer trash lines than the rest of my gear, so if anything was to go to legendary, I think it would probably be the heart. But just with what we have here currently, we're sitting at just shy of 36k stat, and I still have a lot of free stat coming my way. Just finishing off my Arcane Force, getting into the grandest areas, starting those dailies is going to push this character over 40k stat, probably close to 45k once I'm done with everything, and once everything has proper Star Force, and if I'm using the Dominator Pendant instead of a Pendant of Spirit. So it's more than a good enough starting point. With that amount of stat, I can fairly comfortably get into just about every boss. Even Black Mage parties on the low end require just shy of 50k stat, so I'm not too far off funding wise for getting into everything. I just need to work on a couple of my potentials. I do need to start working on familiars because I have literally none besides my Spoder, and that's what we'll be doing going forward for now. But this was just a little preview. Show where we're starting. Show people the gear, since a lot of people have been asking about it. Like, what's the Nightwalker gear look like since we've been playing it on stream a little bit. And it's pretty decent. Hoping it gets a little better with time though. Anyways, I hope you liked this video. I'll see you next time.